Before launching the series, I want to tell you about two things. One, a dream I had 2 nights ago, and two, a conversation. The conversation that started all of this. So 2 nights ago, I had a dream about an artist that I know from Lebanon. I really admire her work. So in the dream, she was busy, she was on tour, and somehow I met with her and I was really eager to ask her this question. And I really wanted to hear the answer from her perspective. I asked her, what do you do with self-doubt? How do you deal with self-doubt? What do you do with it? How do you move past it? And I really wanted her to share with me some kind of formula or some kind of wisdom. And her answer was, she laughed. She looked at me, she laughed, and she was like, what do you mean self-doubt? The end. When she said this, it left me with a beautiful feeling. In that moment in the dream, what I felt is creative freedom, and I understood that that's the kind of creative mental state that I aim to be in. No room for doubt. To her in my dream, that wasn't even a factor in the whole equation. What is self-doubt? That's not part of my creative process. I just create. I just do it for me first. And so that's, I guess, the answer I was seeking in non-dream life. I was reading all these books and listening to all of these podcasts. It all, I guess, led me to here, to now, to have this dream as an answer to myself. What is self-doubt? What do you mean self-doubt? So, yeah. So the second thing is the conversation that I had with my therapist. And she asked me, Christelle, why do you create art? Why do you make music? Because I can't not do it. If I don't create, I don't exist. So she was like, wow, a lot of people, a lot of artists share exactly that with me. They say that creation is part of the fabric of their existence and they just have to do it. I can relate. Okay, cool. Yeah. And then she asked me a more interesting question. When do you create art? And that's a question that I always run away from. I never really had creative discipline or a creative framework that I follow. So what was common about all the times that I did actually complete a project and shared it? But I stopped her there. My inner critic had entered the chat and I deflected the question and I started telling her about all of these amazing artists that I admire and how they keep putting out one album after the other and how they are in the zone and they are just creating from their heart and releasing. Maybe I just overthink things and that's what stops me. But she stopped me there and she said, no, you need to figure out why you create, not why one creates. Why do you feel like creating it and when do you feel like creating it? Fine, I'll answer you. I traced back when these projects and these creations just poured out of me and I stitched them all together and I realized that I create when I want to heal, when I want to process, when I want to transform, when I want to connect and to honor my experiences. I create when it's true to me. And all of those hundreds of unfinished projects sitting in my computer and my files screaming like a Sims character that is unattended to. You know how when you open your Sims game after a long time and you haven't taken care of your character for a long time and everything's red and they're screaming and just having a breakdown and begging you to take care of them? That's how I feel about my unfinished projects, begging me to look at them. And what's common about all of them is that none of them mean anything to me. They weren't coming from a place of truth. I had created this hypothetical audience that I was trying to please. I don't know how that happened, where I learned that, but I'm unlearning it now. A lot of people can create for a specific audience. Maybe they work for commercial purposes, and that is still great. People and artists have different processes and intentions with their work, but for me personally, I could not create if it's not for me first. So I looked back at my time living in this apartment with my flatmate for almost 4 years, and this is the space where most of my completed projects were initiated. In that home, I experienced loss and grief and collective healing, joy and love, isolation and disconnection, depression and anxiety, hope, excitement and confusion. Everything was happening all at once. There was no clear creative process, no structure, no discipline. This home became my creative cocoon. It was chaotic, but it was sacred. Every song I finished was like a timestamp of a transformation. And I released 5 songs: Child of Light, Dancing Trees, Needs, Special Bird, and Far Too Long. Could have been 4 albums in 4 years, right? No. I was working completely alone in my room, disconnected from everything and everyone, going through all of these feelings and transformations. I did not have a clear intention with what I was doing, why I was doing this. I did not feel a sense of community. I had a lot of support from amazing, talented friends who guided me to great opportunities. I performed live, I applied to grants, and I met so many amazing people. But still, I was hungry for conversations where we could talk about the creative process, because it really meant nothing for me to be exposed to all of these opportunities if I did not truly understand myself and what I was doing in the first place, and what intention do I want to put in my creation. So this is why it was slow for me, because I avoided it most of the times. And of course, the overall situation in the country made me feel like surviving and just going through the day was more important than prioritizing these kind of aspirations. I just felt like we were all collectively trying to understand where we are as artists. Where do we seek support? What are our channels like? My flatmate, he pushed me when I did not feel like there's any use to go on with creating. Those small conversations that I had with my flatmate. Imagine one person just sharing their drive and you're seeing them. He's an artist too, so just seeing him create was enough for me to be like, okay, well, I could do that too. It pushed me. So imagine if we have more and more of people around us inspiring us just by their existence, just by talking about the creative process. It's important to just have conversations with people about creativity itself. That was super inspiring to me. And so those songs just happened out of pure need. I put them out, I shared them, and I let them go, and I never looked back. But time and distance changed my relationship to those creations. Now that I'm approaching my art and my life from a more intentional place, from a place of healing and connection and truth, I want to honor those songs. Art doesn't only heal when it's made, but it heals again when it's shared and when it sparks reflection in others. So, I am launching my 5 ritual series, 1 episode for each one of those songs where we dive deep into their themes. And this time, I'm bringing people on board with me. Who are those people? They are little pieces of my heart, pillars in my life. We're gonna have intimate conversations about love, loss, death, wisdom, growth, destiny, hope, depression, and everything that's in between. Each episode is curated differently. Each one will be a unique ritual for me alone, for my guests, for us both together, and for you if your heart relates. Through these episodes, through these new narrative explorations and intimate conversations, I hope you feel seen, I hope you feel inspired, and maybe a little lighter in your own heart. I want my art to be a transformative process. That's what the 5 ritual series is about. It's about honoring these small, quiet ways we heal, letting creation meet transformation, letting reflection meet action, and remembering that we are always in the process of becoming. I hope these episodes invite you to reflect and maybe even inspire you to create something of your own along the way. I'm sharing the songs that changed me, and hopefully in some small way they can change you too. I created my Bandcamp profile, the link is in my description. Follow me there, support my art there. You'd be supporting me directly. I'll be posting music and other creations as well. Stay tuned, subscribe and support. Let's connect, let's heal, let's dream, and let's create.